Hello everyone, hope you're doing well and welcome to the very first HTML5 and CSS3 course. This course is designed for those who have a zero knowledge of HTML and CSS and want to start their career as a web developer. And if you have a basic knowledge of HTML and CSS and want to increase your knowledge as a web developer, so you are in the right place. In this course, we will cover all HTML and CSS3 topics. So if you follow this course until end, I promise you will learn a lot from this course as a web developer. Enough with talking, let's get started. Before jumping over to the main point, if you didn't subscribe my YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe this channel and hit the bell icon so you'll get the notification of my new video when I upload them. Alright, at the beginning we will talk about the agenda of this course. So first we will talk about the basics of HTML, like heading, paragraph, tables, lists, and so on. Then we will jump over to the CSS coloring HTML elements. We will talk about the padding, margin, box models. Then we will create some projects, and after that we will jump over to the advanced CSS. So there are a lot of topics to cover in this course. So don't forget to subscribe and follow this course until the end. What is HTML? HTML is a standard markup language for creating web pages. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. HTML is a standard markup language for creating web pages. HTML consists of a series of elements which describes the structure of web page. HTML elements tell the browser how to display the content. HTML elements label pieces of content such as this is heading, this is a paragraph, link, and etc. As you can see, this is a simple HTML document. And now I'm going to describe the functionality of HTML elements. So as you can see, the first doc type HTML, which defines that this document is an HTML5 document. HTML has a lot of versions like XHTML, HTML4, HTML, but the latest version of HTML is HTML5 that we are going to use in this course. So the second tag you can see is HTML. This element is the root of the HTML page. All our elements are going to be inside of this HTML element. And the third one you can see is head. The head element contains the meta information about the HTML page. And the fourth one is the title. Title describes the title of a web page. The body element defines the document's body and is the container for all the visible contents such as heading, paragraphs, images, hyperlinks, tables, lists, and so on. And the sixth one, which is H1, the H1 element defines a large heading. There are 6 types of heading, which is H1, H2, H3 to H6. And the last element, which is P element. The P element defines a paragraph. Every single paragraph that you can see inside the web page are written inside this P tag. And as you can see, every element has the opening tag and closing tag. As you can see, the HTML has the opening tag and closing tag. The head has the same, the title, body, H1, H, and P. But there are some elements that have the opening tag but they don't have the closing tag. Let's talk about the element. An HTML element is defined by the start tag, closing tag, or end tag. Everything goes inside this opening and closing tag is called element. Some HTML elements have no content like the BR element. These elements are called empty elements. Empty elements do not have an end tag. The purpose of web browser like Chrome, Firefox, Safari is to read HTML documents and display them correctly. A browser does not display the HTML tags but uses them to determine how to display the document. As you can see on the screen, there are tags, there are elements, but the browser is not showing the tags inside the browser. This is the visualization of an HTML page. The content inside the body section, the white area, will be displayed a browser. The content inside the title element will be shown in the browser title bar or in the page tab. As you can see on the screen, all other elements are going to be typed inside the the HTML elements. So let's write a simple HTML document. Well, there are a lot of editors that you can use for creating a website or web pages. So now let's create a sample. As you can see, every open tag should have the close tag, but some of them are not. When you are creating a new tag, make sure to close that tag at the same time. So heading, and inside the heading we have a title, and let's close the title tag, and let's slide the title for our web page. So this is a title, and outside the heading tag, head tag, we are going to create the body tag. The body tag also have opening and closing tag, and all our content are going to be typed inside this body tag. Every element inside the body tag is going to be displayed in a browser. So let's write p tag as well. So p tag also have opening and closing. So let's save this. Remember, always save your first web page with the name of index, and after index dot, give it the HTML dot type HTML, that index dot type HTML. So let's save this, let's close this, and let's computer screen, and here you can see the index our web page. So let's double click, and as you can see, this is a simple heading one that we have created, and this is the paragraph, and this is a title. The title is this part of our web page, as you can see. Now I know this will be a little bit hard for the beginners to remember all these codes that we have typed right now. Now I'm going to tell you about another text editor that will help us a lot as a beginner to write a code, which is Atom, that we are going to use in this course. Now, Atom is another text editor. You also can use the Visual Studio and Notepad++, simple Notepad that we have used in the beginning of this video, and also you can use the Atom text editor. So just write Atom, and it will take you through to the main its own website, and there you can download. We just need this Atom text editor. We are not going to download any other things, and we are going to walk through the complete course using this Atom. So you can download this, for Windows right here, and click on download. It's 189 MB. So I'm not going to download this, I've already have. So you can download this and simply install this. The installation is the same like other applications. So I'm going to open this. So this is the Atom text editor looks like. This section is the project section, as you can see, and this section is this part is the editing or text editing part, and this section is the menu. So now let's create a new file. Just click on file, by new window. You can create a new window, but now we are going to create a new file. And as you can see, our file doesn't have any name, so I'm going to press a Ctrl S. First I'm going to save my file so index.html. also add an h.html to your HTML page, otherwise it will not run. So click save, and now just write ht. It will give you a hint that you need HTML to write HTML. So we are going to press enter. We say yes. It will print everything that we need for our basic HTML page. So here when we write h1, so it will show that you need heading 1. So we press enter. Yes, it opened the tag and close tag at the same time. So here we can write this is heading 1, and for other, let's write p. It will say you need a paragraph tag. We press yes, and this is a paragraph. So here you can see it will shows that where your project is saved. So my project is saved inside the document. So I'm going to save this, and let's come back and let's double click on my computer and come to the document here, and here you can see the index. So I'm going to double click on this, and as you can see, this is the same as we typed in our at the beginning of this video using the notepad, simple notepad text editor. So as you can see, this is a really very helpful. It's very good for the beginners to use this text editor. You also can use the Visual Studio. It also can help you. It also can help the beginners type the code. You can use this text editor. That will help you a lot. So this is the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoy, and if you want me to create more like this useful video, or if you learn anything new from my video, so please like, share and comment. It will help me to create more useful content for you. Thank you guys, and please subscribe our YouTube channel. An HTML element is defined by starting tag and ending tag. As you can see, this is the HTML element. It will start and end. Now the HTML element is everything from the start tag to the end tag. Some HTML elements have no content, like br. This element have no content inside. These elements are called empty elements. Empty elements do not have an end tag. As you can see, one element inside another element. Now element inside another element is called nested element. The element can be nested. This means that elements can contain another elements. All HTML documents consist of nested HTML elements. As we talked about all these elements, but there is one another element that we are going to talk about it right now, which is br element. This is called an empty element. The HTML elements with no content are called empty element. This bar or br tag defines a line break, is an empty element without a closing tag. So let's use this. Let's remove this from here, and let's write this between our paragraphs. br, and now let's save this and let's check our web page. What will happen? As you can see, this br tag is used for line break. After this br element, every content will jump over to the next line. So if we cut this content from here and let's paste it after this will print in the first line, and this is a paragraph will print in the jump over to the second line, as you can see right here. So this is the uses of br tag. HTML is not case sensitive. It means that p with capital is same with p with small letter. If we print this, if we save this and print it again, see, everything is the same as we use with a small p tag. So if you think you have learned something from this video, please don't forget to like, share. This will help us a lot to make more useful content. HTML heading defines H1 to H6. The H1 defines the most important heading and H6 defines the least important heading. So first, let's jump over to the browser and check how it looks. So as you can see, the heading 1, head 2 to head 6 looks like this. The heading 1 is the most important and its size bigger than H6. A browser automatically adds some white space and margin before the and after the heading. Headings are important. Search engine use the headings to index the structure and content of your web page. Users often skim a page by its heading. It is important to use headings to show the document structure. H1 headings should be used for main heading, followed by H2 headings, then the least important H3 and so on. Remember, use HTML headings for headings only. Don't use headings to make text bigger or bold. For bigger headings, each HTML headings has default size. However, you can specify the size for any heading with the style attribute using the CSS font property. So first, as you can see, let's jump over to the browser. You can see the heading 6 is smaller than heading 1. So let's increase the size of heading 6 by using the font size property. Let's inside the H6, let's use the style attribute, and now let's use the CSS property, which is font size, font dash size and colon, and here you can specify the size of your font that you want to add on, and the size will be specified with pixels. So I'm going to use 60 pixel with px. So let's save this. Now let's jump over to the browser and let's refresh. So as you can see, now H6 or heading 6 is bigger than heading 1. So as we learn about headings and their uses, now let's jump over to the paragraph. HTML5 element defines a paragraph. A paragraph always starts on a new line, and browsers automatically add some white space or margin before and after a paragraph. So let's add a default paragraph. So let's use the Control C and copy this and paste it here. Now let's jump over to let's decrease the size of. As you can see, here is our paragraph, and there are some default margin from left and from top side. You cannot be sure how HTML will be displayed. Large or small screens and resized windows will create different results. HTML, you cannot change the display by adding extra spaces or extra lines in your HTML code. The browser will automatically remove an extra spaces and lines when the page is displayed. Here is a random text that I have added, and I add an extra line and spaces. So let's save this and let's run on the browser how it looks. So as you can see, I have added the different lines and spaces here, but the browser will remove that spaces and lines automatically. This will be displayed in just one line. The HR tag defines the thematic break in an HTML page and is most often displayed as a horizontal rule. The HR element is used to separate content in an HTML page. As you can see, I add this HR tag here between the first paragraph and the second paragraph. Now let's run. Let's save this and let's refresh the browser and let's check how it looks. So as you can see, there is a line between the paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. So this element is used to separate content in an HTML page. So if you want to separate your content in a single web page, you can use this HR tag. Well, there is another problem in P tag, which is poem problem. So let's suppose you are going to write a poem in your web page. And this is a random poem that I have written right here. So let's check how it looks in our web page. So let's save this. Let's jump over to the browser and let's refresh the browser. As you can see, the poem is also in just one line. There is no extra spaces that we have added in our code section. For solution of this problem, we have PRE tag. The HTML PRE element defines the preformatted text. The text inside the PRE element is displayed in a fixed width font, and it preserves both spaces and line breaks. Let's save this. Now let's jump over to the browser. Let's refresh this, and as you can see, there is a space between these text. So that's it. If you think you have learned something new from this video, make sure to subscribe my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for latest videos when I upload them. And please like and leave the comment and tell me what you learned new from this video. HTML style attribute is used to add style to an element such as color, font, size, and many more. So as you can see, I've added here a style attribute and the value of the style attribute, or CSS value. You can say the color which will defines, and this is the value. The color which is property, and red is the value. The same I've added in h2 tag. So now let's save this and let's jump over to the browser. It will look like this. The HTML style attribute setting the style of an HTML element. You can see style, which is the attribute, and color, which is the property of CSS, and the value of property. We will learn more about CSS later in this tutorial. So now let's add some style into our heading 3 or h3 tag. So let's type style, and inside the double quotation, here we can use the property and the value. So the property should be, let's add a background color to the h3 tag. So let's type background dash color colon, and here you can specify the value. So let me add a different value, red, and let's save this and let's jump over to the browser. Let's refresh the browser, and here you can see the background color is added to the h3 or heading 3 tag by using the style attribute, background color property, and red value. You can also use the other color you prefer. See, you can also add the same changes or same style, same color into a p tag. So let's just copy this from h1 and paste it right here. So now let's jump over to the browser and let's refresh it. As you can see, the same can be done with the other tags you prefer. The other property that we have is the font family. Now let's add inside the p tag. We are going to use the attribute style, and here we are going to use the font family property, which is font dash family colon, and here we're going to pass the value. The value that I'm going to pass is RDANA browser, and let's check how it looks. Oh, I didn't add any text here, so I'm going to write here the text. This is property. Let's save this. Now let's refresh this. As you can see, this is the style, but let's add some different style. Let's save this. Now let's refresh. As you can see, the font is changed. So this is the use of font family property. We also can increase the size of our paragraph or any other tag that you are using. So let's just remove here and let's add the property of font size. font size, and here you can use the value using pixel and percentage. So let's use the value with percentage, 300%. So now let's save this and let's check how it looks. This is a huge text that is printed into our web page. So this is the uses of font size property. Well, another property that we are going to use is text align. So let's add another p tag, and here we are going to use style again. And for alignment of a text into our web page, we are going to use a text align property dash align, and here we're going to align our text in center. Let's save this and let's this text should be printed in the center of web page. Let's save this and now let's refresh the browser, and as you can see, this text is printed at the center of our web page. So this is the uses of text align property. HTML elements were designed to display a special type of text. Well, there are some of HTML elements or formatting elements that we are going to talk about it now. So the first one is B element. The B element defines the bold text without an extra importance. And the second one is strong elements. The HTML strong element defines text with a strong importance. The content inside is typically displayed in bold. The third and the fourth one is I and EM element. The HTML I element defines a part of a text in an alternate voice or mood. The content inside is typically displayed in italic. The I tag is often used to indicate a technical terms, a phrase from another language, a thought, and etc. And the fourth one is EM element, which defines emphasized text. The content inside is typically displayed in italic. The fifth one is mark. Well, the HTML mark element defines a text that should be marked or highlighted. And the HTML small element defines the smaller text. The HTML DL element or delete element defines the text that has been deleted. The browsers will usually strike a line through the deleted text. So the next element is INS element or instead element, which defines a text that has been inserted into the document. The browsers will usually underline the inserted text. And the second one is sub-element. The HTML sub-element defines subscript text. The subscript text appears half a character below the normal line and is sometimes rendered in a smaller font. And the last one is sub-element. The HTML sub-element defines the superscript text. The superscript text appears half a character above the normal text and is sometimes rendered in a smaller font. So now let's jump over to the code section and type them all, and let's check them how they looks in a web page. So the first one that we are going to talk about is B element. So let's type B, press enter, and here we're going to write something. This is a B element. Let's save this and let's refresh the page. So as you can see, the B element is bold, then a simple. Now let's check it. Let's press B. This is a simple. Let's save it and let's compare them. That the B element is bolder than the simple paragraph or simple p tag. So the second one is strong element. The strong element is also appear in our page as a bold text. As you can see, the B element and the small element is, the strong element is same. They both are bold. So the third and the fourth one is, so first let's write a text. So I elements, here we're going to use it. This is italic text. Let's save this and let's refresh the page. So as you can see, this text is italic text. It's different than the default paragraph text. And now let's check the em element, which is emphasize. Let's add a break, line break, and then here we're going to add em, and here we're going to write that this is an emphasize. Let's save this. Now let's refresh the page, and as you can see, the italic and emphasized text is same. So another one is small element. So first let's type E. So I'm going to say this is for testing the small element. And now we're going to put the small inside the small element. Here. Now let's save this. Let's refresh the page. So as you can see, the small text is smaller than the default paragraph text. So the another one is mark, and here we're going to say, let's copy this text and paste it here. And instead of the small element, we're going to type here the mark element. Mark, and here we're going to add small. Let's save this and let's check the differences. As you can see, the mark element will highlight a text inside the paragraph. So the second one is delete element. Now let's add another. Here we're going to type here we're going to, inside the paragraph element, we're going to type this. So color is, and inside the delete element I'm going to type it blue red. So the browser will strike a line through delete element. And now we are going to, let's add this red inside the insert, or excuse me, instate element. Now let's check how it looks. And here you can see the instate element has the underline. The browser will usually underline the inserted text. So the next one, we have a sub element. Now let's check this one. This is subscripted text, and let's see how it looks. Let's refresh this. So as you can see, the subscripted text defines a, the subscripted element defines a subscripted text, and the subscripted text appears half a character below the normal line and is sometimes rendered in a smaller font, and you can see it's smaller than the default paragraph text. And the next, we have the sub with the P element. And now let's copy this and paste it here. So instead of B, we're going to type P, and here I'm going to say, and let's type P here, and let's save this. Let's jump over to the browser and let's refresh the page. So as you can see, the sub or superscript element defines the superscript text. The superscript text appears half a character above the normal line and is sometimes rendered in a smaller font. So hope you understand. Here we have learned about B element and strong element, italic, emphasized element, small element, and mark element, delete and insert element, subscript element, and superscript element. So hope you understand and hope you learned something from this video. So if you think you learned something from this video, please leave the comment. Tell us about your opinion about this video. So thank you guys for watching and don't forget to subscribe. HTML colors are specified with predefined colors name RGB or RGBA, which is red, green and blue, HEX, which is hexadecimal color, HSL and HSLA, which is hue, saturation and lightness. So first let's jump over to the RGB color, RGB and RGBA. An RGB color value represents red and green and blue. The RGBA color value is an extension of RGB with an alpha channel. First we will talk about RGB, then we will talk about RGBA later on. In HTML, a color can be specified as an RGB value using this formula. First RGB, then its parameter. Each parameter, red, green and blue, defines the intensity of the color with the value between 0 and 255. This means that there are 256 will be equal to this number as you can see on the screen. For example, RGB 255 and 00 is displayed as a red because red is set its highest value, which is 255, and the two other green and blue are set to 0. Another example, which is 0, 255 and 0, is displayed as a green because green is set its highest value, which is 255, and two others, red and blue, are set to 0. And this one, as you can see, is the blue because the blue is set to its highest value and two others are 0. The other topic which we talked about is RGBA. RGBA color value are an extension of RGB color values with an alpha channel which is specified the opacity for a color. An RGB color value is specified with red, green, blue and alpha. So the other color is hexadecimal. Hexadecimal color is specified with this formula as you can see. First 2R, then 2Gs and 2Bs. 2R is equal to red and 2G is equal to green and 2B is equal to blue. The hexadecimal integers specify the component of a color. The hexadecimal color can be specified using the hexadecimal value as you can see on the formula, where 2R are red, G's are green and 2B is blue. Hexadecimal value between 20 and F same has a decimal 0 to 255. For example, hexadecimal value is hashtag double F and 40 formula will equal to red color because the red, which is 2R, the first one is the highest value and two others are 0. And the second you can see F hashtag 20 and 2F, and at the end it was 20 is displayed as a green because green is set to its highest value, which is 2F, and two others are 0. And the last one, as you can see, the blue is the highest value because that's why it's blue color. To display black, set all colors parameters to 0, and to display white, set all colors parameters to F. Right, so let's talk about HSL color or HSLA color, which is hue, saturation and lightness, or hue, saturation and lightness alpha is the same as a RGB color. In HTML, a color can be specified using the hue, saturation and lightness, which is HSL in the formula. As you can see, HSL and then hue, saturation and light. The hue is the degree on the color wheel from 0 to 360. 0 is red, 120 is green and 240 is blue. Saturation is the percentage value. 0% means a shade of gray and 100% means full color. Lightness is also percentage value. 0 is black and 100% is white. The saturation can be described as the intensity of a color. 100% is pure color, no shades of gray. 50% is 50% gray, but you can still see the color. 0% is completely gray. You can no longer see the color. The lightness of a color can be described as how much light you want to give the color, whereas 0% means no light, which is black, but 50% means 50% light, neither dark nor light, and 100% means full light, which is white. The HSLA color value are an extension of HSL color value with an alpha channel, which specifies the opacity or a color. This is the formula of HSLA color. The alpha parameter is a number between 0.0, fully transparent, and 1.0 not transparent at all. So now let's jump over to the code section. Let's practice all these colors with the code section. These are the colors that I used here name. As you can see, the first one is color name tomato, green, medium sea green, gray, slat blue, so light gray and tomato. So now let's jump over and see. As you can see, these are the color that I used here name by using the name that we have talked about before. So now let's check the RGB color. As you can see, the heading 2 style color is equal to RGB color that I have used. The first one, which is red, you can see, the second one green, and the third one blue. So now let's check. See, red, green, and blue. And the last one that I've used opacity, which is RGBA color. This is the RGBA color. Let's check their opacity. As you can see, this is the opacity that I have used. Now let's add some differences. Let's use 2 instead of 5. Let's save this. Now let's check what will happen. Let's refresh. You can see the opacity is a little bit lighter. Now let's use a little darker. Let's use 8 instead of 5. Let's save this. Let's see how it looks. See, it's a little bit darker. So that's the RGB or RGBA color that we have used. Now let's check the hexadecimal color value. Let's use the heading. Let's add a style, color, and let's use the hashtag FF with 4 zeros. Now let's add the text X color. Let's save this. Now let's jump over to the browser. Let's refresh. And as you can see, first double F and 4 others are 0 is equal to red color. Now let's copy this and check the other one. Let's make these two 0 and let's make these two double F. Now let's check. Let's refresh, and as you can see, it is green. Now let's do the same thing to display the blue color. Save this. Let's refresh. As you can see, this is the blue color. Now let's use a little different color, double E82 and double E. Let's save this and let's refresh. This is a different color. So this is the using hexadecimal value. So now let's jump over to HSL and HSLA color. Heading 1, and let's add style, color. You can use, as I mentioned before, the HTML is not case sensitive. You can use the color lower case and capital. Both of them are the same. First, let's use HSL color. Add the first one to 0, the second one 100%, and the third one is 50%. As I mentioned before, the first one is a hue, which is a degree on the color wheel from 0 to 350. So the first one, which is 0, is equal to red. If the first is equal to 220, this will display the green, and if the first value was 240, it will display the blue. First, let's check this, then we will test the other two ways as well. First, let's display this. So I think I didn't add any text. So this is HSL color. Let's save this. Now let's refresh. As you can see, this is a red color. Now let's change this to 120. It will display the green color. So let's save this. As you can see, there is a green color. And if we make this to 240, this will display the blue color. Now let's refresh. As you can see, it's a blue color. Now the two other saturation, this is the percentage of the color. So let's make this one to 0%. Let's save this. Now let's refresh. As you can see, the 0 means shade of a gray. It will display the gray color. So if we change the last one to 0 as well, what will happen? Let's check. See, it's like a dark color. As you can see, black dark color. Now let's check. If we use this as a 100, what will happen? It's the same, because the last one, which is lightness, is into the dark. If we print the light one, nothing will display because it will completely light. As you can see, we have a text, but it's not going to display because the last one, which is lightness, is 100%. If we make this to 80%, it will be displayed light dark. Now let's jump over to the HSLA color. Let's copy this and paste it right here. And here we are going to use a HSLA color, and we will use opacity. Let's make this to 0, and that's why the opacity will be displayed. So now 0.5. Let's save this. Now let's refresh. As you can see, this is the opacity of the HSLA color. Now let's use this little bit lighter. Let's use, instead of 5, just add 2. Now let's refresh this. You can see the HSLA the A, which is alpha, use the alpha channel, will display some changes into opacity of the text. So now if we add 8 here, let's display this, and you can see it is. So hope you enjoy and hope you understand. If you didn't subscribe my YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe this channel and hit the bell icon so you will get the notification of my new video when I upload them. And if you have any question, please leave the comment below. HTML tables allow web developers to arrange data into rows and columns. Tables are very important in web designing, or especially for creating a web page. It will allow a developer to arrange their data in a single web page. So let's create a table. For creating a table, we are going to use the table element. So table, inside the table we have tr element and th element. Tr is for table row and th is for table heading. So first let's create tr, which is table row, and let's create th, which is table heading. So for table heading, we are going to add name. Let's add another table heading, which is name and number, or we can add age. This is a single row. The first row, which is heading, this element th is table heading and tr is table row. Now let's add another row, table row, and for table row we are going to add another element, which is td element. Td element is for table data. So now let's add data. So for name we are going to add Bob. For last name we are going to add td Tommy, let's guess. And for age we're going to add 34. So now this is a single row, excuse me, this is the second row. Now let's create another row. So tr table row and td table data. So for table data we're going to add a name Ahmad, Ali, which is his last name, and table is 40. Now let's one more data, table raw td, and let's Umar td Muhammadi, and let's add another td, which will be 50. So now let's save this. Now let's jump over to the web page. Now let's refresh this. So this is our table with data. The first row is heading and the 3 others are table data. Every HTML element has a default display value depending on what type of element it is. There are two types display value, block and inline. The block level elements always start on a new line, and browser automatically adds some space before and after the element. A block level elements always takes up the full width available. Two commonly used block elements are p and div element. The p element defines the paragraph in an HTML document, and the div element defines the division or a section in an HTML element. So now first let's take over to the source code. First let's type p element. So this is a paragraph, and after this we are going to write div, and let's remove the class attribute, and we are going to add this in a one single line, and here we are going to type this is a div without e. Now let's save this and let's jump over to the desktop and let's run this. So as you can see, they both are the block elements. So now let's add them as style attribute, and let's check them how much width they can cover. So style, so let's add border, block. Let's save this. Now let's refresh the page. As you can see, the paragraph, which is block element, cover the full width of the screen. And let's copy this and check this into a div element as well. And let's save this and let's refresh. So as you can see, they both are the same. They both cover the full width of the web page. So this is the uses of the block line element. So here is the list of the block level elements, as you can see right here. So now let's jump over to the inline elements. An inline element does not start on a new line. An inline element only takes up as much width as necessary, like a span element. So now let's take this one as well. So let's add another paragraph. So we can say this is for testing. Let's type span element, span element. Now let's save this and let's refresh. So as you can see, the span element is an inline element, and inline element only takes up as much width as necessary for it. So now let's add some style. Color red. As you can see, so this is the uses of a block and inline element, and these are the differences. And remember, an inline element cannot contain a block level element, but the block level element can contain the inline element. As you can see, the P is a block level element and the span is an inline element. So let me give you some more examples. So let's guess the UL that we have already studied about, unordered list, which is UL element, is a block level element, and LI is a block level element as well. So let's say home, and let's copy this. Services, and contact. So the UL element is also a block level element, as you can see. So here is the list of an inline element you can see right here. An HTML iframe is used to display a web page within a web page. It means that web page inside another web page. The HTML iframe tag specifies an inline element. An inline frame is used to embed another document with the current HTML document. So now let's add, as you can see, this is an iframe element with source, which is src attribute, width and the height. We will talk about width and height in later, but first let's talk about the src attribute. So src attribute equal double quotation. So here you can specify the web page that you want to insert in another web page, or it means that if you want to share a video, if you like a video and want to share that video from YouTube into your web page, you can add the link, the embed link inside this double quotation. Now let's take a look how to do this. So here is my YouTube channel and this is the video. So first click on a share button, and here you can add click on embed, and from this double quotation https you can copy to this double quotation at the end of this double quotation and copy this. And now let's jump over to the source code, and inside this double quotation you can paste it right here, and let's remove that to the extra double quotation. Now let's save this and let's jump over to the web page and let's refresh this, and here you can see the video from my YouTube channel is added inside this web page. So this is the using of iframe. So you can insert a web page inside another web page. And for height and the width attribute, you can specify the width and the height of that frame for adding, and remember that height and width are specified in a pixel by default. So here I'm going to add 600 will be width and 400 will be height. Now let's save this, let's jump over to the page and let's refresh this. So as you can see, the frame height is increased, and this is the video which I shared from my YouTube channel into my web page. And remember, also practice the title attribute for the iframe. Let's add the title here, and here I'm going to share some information about the video. So this is the, or let's say HTML video from CodingWithRohani YouTube channel. Now let's save this. So this title will give some information about that content that you have shared in your web page. So that's it. Hope you understand. And you can also add the style attribute to remove that border. You can see this border. You can also remove this border by using the style attribute and then border none value. So BOR border none. Let's save this and let's refresh the page. As you can see, that default border is removed. So that's it. Hope you understand, and don't forget to subscribe. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Coding with Rohani YouTube channel. In this video we're going to talk about the file paths. So before jumping over to the main point, if you didn't subscribe my YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe this channel. Please like this video and leave the comment below. Alright, so let's get started. So the file path describes the location of a file in a website's folder structure. So the file paths are used when linking to the external files like web pages, images, style sheets, and JavaScript. So let me type this: web pages, images, style sheets, and script, JavaScript. So when you are connecting these files like web page, images, style sheets and JavaScript, we need to add the file path of that files or image. For this, here we are going to just connect or just test the image file. So let's use the image tag, and inside the src we're going to type the path of our image, so where it is located. So first, what I'm going to target the HTML file, and this is my image. So let me copy this name, and its extension is JPG. So now let me add. So here inside the double quotation src equal double quotation, inside this one I'm going to write the name of the image dot jpg extension. Let me save this. Then inside the alt a or alt attribute, you can describe your image, that what is this image about. So I'm not going to type anything here. Alright, so that's it. Now let's jump over to the folder and let's refresh our page. So as you can see, our image is successfully connected to our web page. So now let's suppose we have a folder. Inside this folder, and here we're going to change the name of the folder by the name of images, and we are going to put our picture inside this images folder. And when we refresh the page, as you can see, our image is not going to be displayed, because here we need to add some changes into this path. So as our image is inside this images folder, we need to add the path of this folder. So for this, what we are going to do, we are going to write the name of the folder images with slash. That's it. Images with slash, and the name of the image with image extension. Now let's jump over to the page. Let's refresh the page. So as you can see, our image is displayed successfully. And we have another way to call our image or add the file path of our file. Let's suppose we are going to create another folder, which will be web page, and we are going to add our test file inside this file. And let me cut this image from this file and paste it right here. So here what we're going to do, we're going to add the file path. We're going to tell the browser that our image is located from outside this folder. So what we're going to do here, we're going to add 2 dot and 1 slash. This means that our file is located outside from this file, outside from the file where our HTML file is located. So let's save this. Let's refresh the page and let's check that what's wrong. So here we are going to, here we need to add the file name. So page. This means that our file is outside from the HTML file folder and it is inside the web page folder. Now let's save this. Let's refresh. As you can see, so let me show this for you. So here you can see this is our HTML file, which is located inside the test folder, and our image is located inside the web page folder. So as you can see, so here we're going to tell the browser that our image is outside from the test folder, outside from the HTML folder, and inside from the web page folder. So as you can see. So hope you understand. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Hello everyone, and welcome to another video of Coding with Rohani YouTube channel. So in this video we are going to talk about the video and audio element in HTML. So before jumping over to the main point, if you didn't subscribe my YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe this channel and hit the bell icon so you'll get the notification of my new video when I upload them. Alright, so let's get started. So the video element is used to show a video on a web page. So as you can see on the screen, the video element has the width attribute, height attribute, and the control attribute. The width and the height attribute is used for adjusting the width and the height of a video on the screen, or you can say on a web page. The control attribute is used to add control for a video, like play video, pause video, and value. So the second element, as you can see, is the source element. The source element allows you to specify alternative video files which the browser may choose from. The browser will use the first recognized format. So as you can see here, after the source is the src attribute, and inside the double quotation there is a video name and the video format, and inside the type attribute is a video and slash with videos format, and the same as you can see right here. Between the opening and closing video tags, this text will only be displayed in browsers that do not support the video element. So as you can see, this is the video that we connect with our web page. So make sure that your HTML file and video should be placed in the same folder. So when we click to play the video, as you can see, we have complete control into our video. So that's it for a video. So the next we have an audio element. The audio element is the same as the video element. This element has the control attribute. This element doesn't have the width and the height element. In fact, it has, but it's not necessary for adding the width and the height attribute for audio element. And the next, this audio element is also has the source element, as you can see here, the both source element, and instead of video in the type attribute, you have to add the audio here. And also, if the video didn't play in any browser, this message will be pop-ups for the user. So now let's save this, and now let's jump over to our page and let's refresh this. So as you can see, audio element is working successfully. Now let's play this and let's check whether it works or not.
IM is an abbreviation.
Video and audio element are working successfully. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe. Hello everyone, hope you're doing well, and welcome to another video of Coding with Rohani YouTube channel. So in this video we're going to talk about forms. Before jumping over to the main point, if you didn't subscribe my YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe this channel and hit the bell icon so you'll get the notification of my new video when I upload them. Alright, so let's get started. So the form is used to collect user input. The user input is most often sent to the server for processing. The form element is used to create an HTML form for user input. So the form element is like a container for different types of input elements, such as text fields, check boxes, radio buttons, submit buttons, and so on. So now, as you can see on the screen, I have created a form element. So I'm going to remove this attributes because we don't need that right now. The next element that we can add into the form element, inside the form element, which it is a label. The label element is used for adding some information for user. So the label tag by default has the for attribute. So the for attribute, you can add the name for your label, like first name. If name will be first name. So this is the first tag that we are going to use inside the form element. And the next tag that we can use is input tag. So the input tag is used for inputting a data or some information. And this element can be displayed in many ways depending on type of attribute. As you can see, the attribute, if you want to display the text, so you need to add inside the double quotation text. If you want to display the password, you need to add the password. If you want to add this input field like a radio button, you need to add radio. If you want to display this input like a checkbox or a date and time or email, you need to select one of these options. And the next, you can add the name and value. So we are not going to use these right now, so this will be just for text. So that's it. For separating these into the next line, I'm going to use the BR element or break line element. So I'm going to create another label. This one will be last name, 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 and I'm going to add another input. So this one is also text because I'm going to add a last name into this. Let's separate this into next line as well, and then I'm going to add some other. So label will be, this one will be email, and let's add another input. So this, instead of text, I'm going to select the email, and let's break the line, and let's create another label. So this will be password, so I'm going to use pass or password. Alright, so now let's create another input, and here I'm going to add the password. So when I save this and let's refresh, open the browser, and as you can see, this is the text field. This is the label, which is some information about these text fields. Now let's add some more options for this. So let's add a break align, and now let's add some like a radio button. So for this, what we need, add the label, gender, and let's add another input. So this one is going to radio, or you can add mail, and let's add mail here, and let's break a line, and let's copy this and paste it here. So instead of mail, we're going to add female. Let's remove this as well, female. So that's it. Now, so we add the text, email, password, radio buttons. Now we are going to test the checkboxes. So let's add label again. We're going to add boxes, here we need to add so first what we're going to do, we are going to add an H5 element. So here we're going to add some simple text, some information for user. So this one will be, which one of these languages is your favorite. I know the spell is incorrect, so now let's ignore this. Favorite coding or programming language. Add a question mark. So for this, first I'm going to add C++. Let's add here, and let's add an input. So instead of radio or simple text or password, I'm going to select the checkbox. So now let's copy this. Let's break a line and paste it here. Instead of C++, I'm going to use simple C. Let's break a line again and let's save. Let's add a C sharp here, break line. Let's paste it again. Let's add Java, or you can add again another language like PHP. So that's it. Now let's check this, how it looks. Next, let's save this. Let's refresh. As you can see, these are the radio buttons, and this is the simple text information, and you can check all of these or any language that you like the most or you are working on the most, or your favorite language here. So this is the uses of the form. Now we have multiple more options for creating a complete registration frame. So as we have added the checkboxes or radio buttons, so we have another thing that we can add, which is the combo box. So for adding the combo box, we need to use the select element. So for adding the combo box or choose option menu, you can use the select element. So for this, let's create select, and the select element also has the default class and name attributes which can be used in JavaScript or PHP. So we are not going to use this right now. We're going to remove this, and inside the select element we can use the option tags. So the option tag also has the default value attribute, so we are not going to use this for now because we don't need this. So here I'm going to create some options for the user. Beginner, and intermediate, advanced, can add advanced, master, and the last one will be expert. Now let's save this, and now let's check how it looks. So let's refresh the page. So as you can see here, so this is called the combo box or the option selector, whatever you call this. So here you can choose one of these options for registration. Inside the registration form, it's very important to use this. So as we have used the select element and the combo boxes, the next thing that we can use inside the first, let's add a heading for this, head 5. So here we can use here we can say for the user that this combo box is for choosing the coding level. So we can say tell us about your coding level. So if we save this and let's refresh this again, so this will be a little bit text or information for the user. And the next thing that we can use is that we can add a text area for this. So for adding text area, we need to use the text area element. So the text area element by default has the name, for giving the name for this text area, that we can use this inside in the JavaScript or PHP, and by default rows and columns. So the default rows for text area is 8 and the default columns are 80. We are not going to add anything inside this text area. So for this, first I need to add a label. So this one will be a little bit information for the user. So when we save this and refresh, as you can see, this is called the text area. So this is the text area where you can add an extra information. And the last one that we are going to talk about is the button. So the button is another element which has by default type and name attributes. So the type will be what type of button you are going to look. So here you can add the reset button, submit button. So I'm going to choose the submit button. So the name will be button, and here I'm going to add the submit text here. So that's it. Now let's refresh the page. So as you can see, this is the button, this is the submit button. That's it for creating a simple registration form. So let me add an heading 1 here. Simple HTML, or you can say HTML5. Now let's save this. So this is a simple registration form in HTML5. So that's it about form. So hope you understand, and if you have any question, please leave the comment below, and please like this video and share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. So in next video we are going to create a simple HTML website. So because our HTML section is completed, we are not going to add any CSS in that website. Stay in touch and don't forget to subscribe. Everyone, hope you're doing well, and welcome to another video of Coding with Rohani YouTube channel. So as I promised, in this video I'm going to create a complete web page using pure HTML. So I'm not going to add any CSS. So we are going to use just HTML because we didn't learn anything about CSS in this course. Enough me talking, let's get started. So before jumping out to the main point, if you didn't subscribe my YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe this channel and hit the bell icon so you'll get the notification of my new video when I upload them. Alright, so let's get started. So for creating a web page, we need to divide a web page in the different parts. So for dividing a page, or for creating sections in a web page, you can use the div element. So div element is used for dividing a page into different parts. So for this, first I'm going inside the div element, I'm going to use the h1 tag. So this one will be the logo section for our web page, or you can use the, so I'm going to write the company name. You can add the logo here. When we save this, and let's double click and run this. So this one will be the company name. This one is, or you can call this a heading of our, or the head section of our web page. Alright, so we are going to create here another div element. So So we are not going to use the class names for now, because we are not going to add any CSS or any other stuff into this web page. Now we are going to add the navigation bar, so it will be nav and ul li, and inside the li we are going to use the a element where we can link our web page from another page. Here what I'm going to do, I'm going to add home. Let's copy this, and home, about, services, projects, and contact. Now let's change the text here. So this one will be about, this one will services, and contact. So this navigation bar section is done as well. As you can see, this is the navigation bar. And now what we are going to do, we are going to add simple now we are going to use the icons. So here I have in this folder, I have an images file. So I'm going to connect these images into my web page. So let me show you. These are the icons or images right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use these images for this website, or you can say web page. Well, web page and websites are different, so the website can be include many web pages. And now we are going to create just simple web page, not our complete website. So now what we are going to do, we are going to add some icons, or we are going to add social media icons. It's a good practice to separate or to add a comment when you jump over to the news section. It's a good practice for you when you are creating the real world website. It's good to add some comments here. For adding comment, you can press Ctrl and Shift. So here what I'm going to do, header section is simple. So this the comment will help you when you are come back to your website code, your code section after a long time. So here I'm going to add bar, and another, this one will be here I'm going to add the social icons. And now here I'm going to create, let me check my, screen recorder is on. Here I'm going to create another div. I'm going to remove this, and here what I'm going to do, I'm going to add the social media icons. So I'm going to use the image, and here I'm going to find the image's name. So I'm going to use this one. Let me check, it's PNG. So M, Facebook, and LinkedIn and Twitter. I'm going to use these 4 social media icons. So inside the images file, I'm going to target the aim.png. So here I'm going to add icon. It will help when now I'm going to copy this 3 more times, and this one will be Facebook. This one will be Twitter, I think Twitter. Twitter, and let me check another one, the last one. Let me copy its name and paste it here. So now let's refresh the page. So as you can see, our social media icon section is done. Now what we are going to do, we are going to add an image to the, like a banner. After this, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to write a comment here again. So banner section here. So now here what I'm going to do, create another div, and inside this div I'm going to add another image icon. So let me check what image I'm going to add here. This image, let me check, it's PNG as well, so image1. So inside the images file I'm going to add image1.png. So now let's refresh this. So this is the image. So as you can see, so our banner section is done as well. Now we are going to work on the services section, and here I'm going to type, add a comment. So services section, that we should include the services that we provide for the customer into our website. So for services I'm going to add an icons here. So the first icon, this is the icon 2 and icon 3. So for this what I'm going to do, I'm going to add icons and heading and simple text, and also buttons. So for this I'm going to create a div, and first I'm going to add icon, and let me create a span, and inside span I'm going to use the image icon. So this one will be icon1.png, and this icon is inside the images folder, and here I'm going to type add text. So here I'm going to add a random text here. So let's save this, and after this what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a p element, and in this p element I'm going to add a simple text here. So this is a simple text for testing this web page, something like this. So I'm going to add a random text here, and after the p element I'm going to create a button. So button is a button, and here I'm going to write and more info. Alright, so that's it. For now let's refresh the page, and as you can see, this is the icon that we have used here. This is the simple text, the inside the span, and this is the simple paragraph, and this is the button. So for this what I'm going to do, I'm going to just copy this div and paste it 2 more times, and let's image icon 2 and icon 3. Save this. For saving time we are going to copy and paste that, and this one will be 3. So for let me add a br element here, add some space. Here we go. So our services section is done as well. After this we are going to add another button with a simple text, so that the viewers can visit to our portfolio website about our personal information. If the user want to know about ourselves, so they can visit to our portfolio website. So for let's write a comment here. So section. So here I'm going to create another div, and here what I'm going to do, I'm going to add, first I'm going to create a button. So button, and here I'm going to add our portfolio. So by using this button, the user can visit our website. So I'm going to use a simple text. This is section for viewers, so they can visit our portfolio. Save this and let's refresh this. So as you can see, this is the button and this is the portfolio text. And now let's add here I'm going to add a BRLM tag. So that's it. So our portfolio section is done as well. Now what we are going to do, we're going to create some more sections. So this section can be, so here I'm going to create a section which includes 3 more sections, different sections. With the first one will be, let's add a BR element, and here let's add a comment. So the first one is going to be testimonial section. Or we can add the subscription section or contact section, excuse me, section. All right, so that's it. So for this we are going to create a div element, and inside this div element I'm going to create another div element. So because we are going to divide this section into 3 parts, so the first one will be the testimonial section, where you can write, where the viewers can write, or the customers can write their own codes. So the first, I'm going to type H5 here. So this will be the heading. Testimonial, and here let's type a simple text, a text from the user. This is a simple text from John, like this. And here I'm going to create add the person name, John. Right, so that's it. And now inside this first div I'm going to create another div. So I'm going to jump over to the second div. As you can see, this second div is closed here, and outside from the second div I'm going to create another div. So this div will be the section for newsletter, or where the viewers can sign in for our website. So this one will be H5 as well, news letter. And after the newsletter, what I'm going to create, I'm going to create use the input, which will be the text, email, and after this I'm going to create button. So this button will be the sign up button, and after this button I'm going to add p element, and this is the section where you can for website. Or so that's it for this section as well. Now let's jump over to the second div, and we're going to create another div here. So this div will be the context section, where the user can where we are going to add the owner's name of this website, the telephone number, and the email address. So this first, let's add h5 element, contact, and after this I'm going to use the icon. Some icons here: telephone, icon 6, 7, and 8. So I'm going to use these 3 icons here. So image, so this one, images, icons, icon 4 dot png. And here, first let's cut this from here. Let's create a span, and inside the span I'm going to create this, close this tag, and here I'm going to type like a simple number, so this is the number, and after this I'm going to create another span, and I'm going to add another icon here. This one will be icon number 5, and this one is the email address of the user, or excuse me, the owner, info@name.com. And the last one, I'm going to add another icon here, images dash icon number 6 and png, and this one will be the owner name. So the owner name can be, right, let's type coding with Rohani. So let's save this, and that's it. This one was the footer section, and let's save this and let's jump over to the web page. Let's refresh this, and that's it. As you can see, this is the footer section. You can see here, so this is the testimonial section, this is the news letter section where you can add your email to subscribe, and this one is the contact section, the number. Here you can see the, I think I have had some mistake here. Let me check. The icons are not correct. Let me check. So icon number 6, 7, and 8. Icon number 6. This one is 7 and this one is 8. Save this now and let's refresh. So here we go. This is the telephone number, the email address, and the owner name here. So that's it. Hope you understand something. As I mentioned before, this is the simple HTML web page that I'm going to create here in this video. We are not going to add any CSS because we didn't learn about CSS. So now the time comes to learn something about CSS. In the next video, we are going to start from the introduction of CSS. So don't miss that video and stay in touch with us, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you'll get the notification of my new video when I upload them.